So I was recently bought this book by the author Chris Schwarz. Used to be a writer, in fact I think he still is a writer for popular woodworking. I believe he runs his own publishing company now called Lost Art Press. And this is an updated, as it says here, revised and expanded version of an older book that he wrote on handplanes. And I really like this book. It's just basically a comprehensive look at everything that you'd really want to know about handplanes. One slight disappointing thing about it is the pictures. For some reason they're all in black and white. I'm not exactly sure why that is and why it couldn't have been colour, but there you go. But yeah, as I say, very comprehensive. It goes through everything that you'd really want to know about handplanes. There's a good chapter on sharpening, all the various types of methods of sharpening, dealing with various kinds of surfaces. A good chapter on dealing with tear out and the role of the cap iron and various other aspects of how you can deal with that. So yeah, it's a good book. I'd probably recommend it. One interesting thing about this book though, and where I really take issue with him is on this new Stanley Works planes, Stanley Sweetheart planes. Now these planes I think are a much maligned plane, but they're actually a lot better than a lot of the reviews make out. And I think what's really puzzling about this chapter is that it contains opinions on this the low angle jack, which I've actually got here. I've got a decent version of here that I think is out of date even by his book. Now according to the introduction here, this was written, I'm probably too far zoomed in here, let's zoom out a little bit. The book was written, or at least revised, in 2016. The introduction here, yeah, April 2016. And it's a little bit of a puzzle, because back in 2010, if you can see here on his site, on the website on popular woodworking, he seems to sort of make comments about the fact that you can't close up the mouth, and also problems with inaccuracies in the milling of the bed. Now if you look further on, if you look at this article about a year or so later, he looks at a revised version of the plane, where he seems to comment that those problems are pretty much dealt with and it's a usable plane. Yet we come to 2016 here in this book, and if we look back on page 280, and he doesn't have great things to say about the plane again. In fact, he uses some of the comments that is applied to his older review. You can maybe see here, he's saying about the cap iron, sorry, not the cap iron, the mouth, not able to close it up properly. And there's a picture here, you might be able to see here, of the mouth being set really, really wide here, and obviously mentioning about the bed again. So a little bit strange how in a 2016 book he's complaining about an older problem, or what appears to be an older problem with the plane. Now I've got a low angle jack here, a newer type from Stanley, and from what I can see there are really no issues at all. In fact, I've set the mouth here, let's see if we can see that here. See, that's very, very close and very, very tight. You should be able to see that there, the mouth there, and the mouth freely moves back and forth. I'll get that to move. You can see that here. No issues at all. It comes very, very tight all the way to the front of the blade, you know, and I can move that blade back, and it gets really tight. Now, I can't really show you the left and right adjustment on the blade very well on this video, but what I can say is that there's no areas here on the bed. It is possible to move the mouth, the blade left and right with the Norris adjuster, and there are no issues at all. Maybe you can see that here. If I'm moving that left and right, you can move it very easily and also get it perfectly aligned with no issues at all on it. So it's a little bit frustrating to see opinions like this on what are, I think, a very, very underrated set of planes. this low angle jack is a really nice plane, and the finishing on it I found is absolutely excellent. You know, the Japanning, everything on it is really nicely finished. In fact, I'd go as far as to say, and I think some people will maybe take a little bit of issue with this and scoff at this, that it's actually better finished than this Veritas shooting plane that I've got here. I don't know if we can see that here. Just have a look here. Not quite sure if we're still in focus here. I mean, if you look at the Japanning for just one, let's zoom in on the shooting plane here. You can see here the finishing here isn't perfect. There's kind of whatever they've used to finish the casting off and treat the Japanning. It's rough, it's a little bit uneven here, there's a bump here, a chip. You can see on this bit here, this part is, it's uneven to the touch. There's a dip in it. Areas around the mouth as well, they're not perfect. And if you look at the Stanley, it doesn't have any of these issues. It's perfect. There's nothing that I can really see that's wrong with it at all. It's really, really nicely finished. This is completely flat. This is a later version. I bought this quite recently, a few months back. So I don't know if that has anything to do with it, whether or not it's a lot of people are reviewing these older versions and not getting good copies. But I'd encourage people to really check out these new Stanleys, because they really are value for money from what I can see.